Following the Anthony Davis-Luka Doncic trade, the first thing on every Laker fan's mind definitely happened to be Luka Doncic, what he might be with their team and what their future with him might look like. But then immediately after that, for many fans happened to be the Lakers' new front court, or their new center rotation, which obviously went from Anthony Davis, a perennial MVP, Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year when healthy, a guy that had been averaging about 26 points per game with their team, 12 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, over 2 blocks per game, and definitely one of the leaders of their team, if not the leader of their team, then down to Jaxson Hayes. And well, compared to Anthony Davis, that was obviously a massive downgrade, going from a guy that had been averaging about 26 and 12, then to Hayes averaging about 5 and 4. Yeah, that's a pretty big difference, and one that many thought the Lakers would not be able to overcome, or that Hayes would be able to fill that role for their team, or even half of it at that. But up until this point, Hayes has been proving a lot of people wrong and might actually be breaking out for their team this season. So we're going to talk about it, talk about Hayes has done for their team, why he has become so important to their team and maybe a top 5 most important player on their entire team at that, and why he has been such a good fit and kind of exploding post-trade deadline. But before we get too far into it, let's quickly go over our game day picks with Underdog Fantasy. And if you're a new sign up, you can pick Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to have higher than 0.5 points later tonight. So yeah, take advantage of that free pick. But then for my picks, for pick number 1, I got Luka Doncic having higher than 2.5 3-point shots with a discounted pick, lowering it from 3.5 down to 2.5. Then for my second pick, I got Jalen Duren having higher than 0.5 double-doubles, aka having a double-double, against the Pelicans who give up some of the most rebounds and points per game to opposing big men. Then for my third and final pick, I got Quentin Grimes having higher than 16.5 points, coming off 4 straight 20-point games, so I think he can get higher than 16.5 tonight. So if you want to follow along with me, or make your own picks, then be sure to check out Underdog Fantasy, and don't forget to use code JSM to get your free pick, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make a deposit. But now getting back to our topic. And like I talked about before, Jaxson Hayes has become incredibly important to their team and probably a top 5 most important player at that. I mean, during their past 10 games now, they have a record of 6 and 4, and all 4 of their losses came without Hayes in the court. Now obviously not only him, guys like LeBron didn't play, Rui Hachimura didn't play, Luka missed 1 game, and even guys like Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent missed a game as well. But you definitely could feel how badly they miss Hayes out there. I mean, trying to replace him with a combination of Alex Len, Trey Jemison, and Christian Koloko definitely did not work and did not hit quite the same, and immediately upon returning, their offense and defense clicked much better on the court. Whether you're talking about the lob connection between him and Luka, they immediately picked that back up and looked a whole lot better than it had been lately. Or then defensively, the rim protection, the switchability on defense, the team defense, immediately better and a whole lot more connected, largely had to do with Jaxson Hayes being back out there on the court for them. Again, definitely not saying it's entirely from him, but they have actually not lost a game with Hayes in the court, dating all the way back to February 19th. Nearly a 1-month sample here and currently riding a 9-game win streak with him on the court. So yeah, he definitely is making an impact and one that goes beyond the box score alone. But if we are talking about numbers, in their past 10 games in which Hayes played in 6 of them, the guy's been averaging about 11 points per game, nearly double of which that he had been averaging prior to the Anthony Davis trade, about 6 rebounds a game to go with it, over 1 block per game, shooting a team-high 79% from the field, and being a plus 30 in that time frame. Or then simply post-Anthony Davis trade, in the 15 games that he's played, averaging about 24 minutes per game, over 9 points per game, about 5.5 rebounds per game, over 1 block per game, on average being a plus 6.5 per game in regard to plus-minus rating, third on their team in that time frame, falling behind only Dorian Finney-Smith and Rui Hachimura, even ahead of both Luka Doncic and LeBron James, so pretty damn impressive, leading their team with a 77% field goal percentage, and probably being the most underrated player on their entire team, if not the entire league in that time frame if you ask me. With that in mind though, what has Hayes done and how has he broken out so quickly, both offensively and defensively for their team? Well, if you're talking about offense, I would be lying to you if I said that wasn't in large part due to Luka Doncic.
Man, that's the best point guard in the league, so I trust he's going to find me every time I get open. My job is just to try to get him open as well, so it's like a relationship. We both got to contribute something.
But even apart from that, gotta give Hayes credit here too. Not only the finishing at the rim, but simply the timing between them. Yes, Luka can throw a guy open and definitely has great vision on the court, But if you actually watch Hayes in the court and the connection between them, Hayes done a really good job at slowing down and not getting too ahead of the play, getting in the right spot at the right time for Luka Doncic to find him, whether it be an alley-oop or a dump off around the rim, finding the right spot to not shrink the floor for Luka Doncic, but space it both vertically and to not kind of clog the lane, be around the rim but not too close to Luka Doncic, and finding that good balance between them. You know, I kind of related to a wide receiver in football, being able to find the soft spot in his own defense. And what I mean by that, rather than them fully running their route or getting too far ahead or too far behind in the play, they kind of stop in the middle of it where no defender actually is, and makes them a much easier pass to their quarterback and one that otherwise would not be possible for them to make. And in relation to that, with what Hayes is doing for their team and with the pick and roll game between him and Luka Doncic, he's not getting too far ahead or too far behind in the pick and roll or getting trapped under the rim, but actually waiting and has perfect timing with Luka Doncic and a really good chemistry growing between them. For example, here in a play last night during the Phoenix game, the Suns are trapping and blitzing Luka, trying to force him to the corner and therefore trying to cut off the pass between him and Jaxson Hayes, but Hayes is actually able to help him out, getting slightly behind Bradley Beal, the point of attack defender, also in front of the weak side defender, staying in the middle of the court and not getting too far under the rim, and making it a possible, albeit difficult pass for Luka Doncic to make, but actually a possible one from the timing between him and Jaxson Hayes, which led to a bucket at the rim and an and one bucket at that, showing off their chemistry and the really good connection between them in the pick and roll game. And no, it's not a connection that's been limited to him and only Luka Doncic. For example, on this play, running a high pick and roll with Austin Reeves, he sets the pick, but rather than immediately running or cutting to the rim, he waits a little bit, letting Austin dive to the rim and attract the attention of the defense and the rim protector with him. Then Hayes cuts to the rim, getting a much more wide open pass and a much more wide open lane to the rim, forcing their weak side defender, Kevin Durant here for example, to try and contest him rather than their primary defender, all of which was set up by his patience and timing within the pick and roll game. And well, like I mentioned before, that timing has led to him becoming very efficient. In their past 6 games now, leading their team with a 79% field goal percentage, not only from easy dump-offs and alley-oops at the rim, but again, legitimately good timing at the rim, in which not only he is benefiting from, but also Luka Doncic, LeBron, and or Austin Reeves are benefiting from too. But apart from offense, definitely making an impact on defense too. You know, he might not be Anthony Davis and really who is on defense, but he's found a way to make an impact and become a really good last-line defense to their team while doing it. Following the Anthony Davis trade, Hayes has been averaging only about 2 fouls per game, becoming much more disciplined on defense, even in more playing time as well. Compared to the 2 fouls per game and 24 minutes per game, he had been averaging about 3 of them per game in only about 15 minutes per game, so definitely an improvement and becoming a much more disciplined rim protector for their team, leading to not only a foul per game improvement, but also more rim protection and blocks per game, up to now about 1.3 blocks per game prior to the trade, doing well in that regard. Or then for switchability on defense, kind of replicating AD, maybe not to that level, but not simply reliant on drop coverage, switching a little bit, playing some hedge defense, and not simply reliant on being at the rim. And well, if you ask me, I think that he's been a pretty big part of their number 1 rated defense since January 1st, and has been a big part of maintaining that defense too. And no matter what way you look at it, Hayes really broken out for their team in a really big way, doing the little things in the court that don't really stand out to the casual fan, but stand out a whole lot if you actually watch the games back and pay attention to the games. Jaxson Hayes has truly become invaluable to their team and to their center rotation. I mean, we've seen it in the 4 games they did not play for their team, how poorly and how different they looked offensively and defensively without him, really showing you his value and how much he means to their team on both ends of the court. And with that being said, what do you guys think? What has stood out to you the most about Jaxson Hayes post-trade deadline, and what he might be able to become for their team going forward? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.